Hi guys, welcome back to August's Love Story, the channel. My name is Artieka.
And I'm Tommy.
And today we are reviewing Married at First Sight, season 15, episode 12. The episode is titled Baby Steps. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and share this video with a friend. So let's start with Stacia and Nate. We get to see Dr. Pia again this episode. And she comes by to do a trust and intimacy exercise with them. Nate tells Dr. Pia and Stacia that he needs Stacia to articulate why she's having such a hard time trusting him. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Pia asked her, does she connect trust with control? And she was like, I never thought about it. And I was like, you do. And I was kind of triggered for a minute because I felt like that has played out in our relationship before, where you don't believe that something's happened unless you can tangibly say that it happened. Mm-hmm. And it's not like it's relationship things, but it's things in general. Yeah. And I was like, this is actually kind of like a wee bit triggering for me. And I finally understand why. I still don't know the way to fix it, but I understand it now.
What's broke, don't fix it.
It is broken. It irritates me. It irritates me. And now I understand why I'm irritated instead of just...
Why are you irritated?
Because it's... You want to control the situation, but you don't trust the answer. Yeah. And no matter what I say, you're still going to ask, but did you do this? And it's like, you could just do it yourself and stop asking me, but you're not going to do that either. This isn't about us. You started.
It's not about us.
You started this by asking that question.
I'm not agreeing with you, but I'm also not going to disagree with you in this moment.
I'm going to wait until the moment that it happens so that I can point it out in the moment, because that's when you see things.
Right. So,
but basically she said, if I don't see it, I don't know that it happened. Yeah. And I'm like, you don't see air, but you know that it exists. Mm-hmm. So they go for their trust and intimacy activity. They go to a dungeon.
It was like a dungeon type.
I think this is what they called it, was a dungeon. Yeah. And Nate was to take the lead on all of their activities. And basically they just had a whole bunch of sex toys around and edible items. In the episode we saw whipped cream, a sex swing. I'm trying to think of what else we saw. Handcuffs. And
that was a big thing that I saw. It was like
the handcuffs.
The handcuffs was like truly giving away your
control.
You know, because you can't maneuver things the way you want to. And stuff
no matter
like
what
that.
You tell somebody, you don't have any control in that instance. On the after party, we found out that she likes her toes sucked, and he sucked her toes
after she washed her feet.
Yeah, with some chocolate syrup on them. I was like, all right. Like, I'm happy. Let me not say I'm happy that scene got cut out, but like, that's isolated scene with no conversation around it would have just been like, awkward. What is going on here? Yeah. But their scenes get awkward for me or uncomfortable for me as a person, because like the shower scene, them being in the bed this time around, I'm like, do y'all realize that production is still in the room? Because, like, what are we doing here?
You trying to get down and dirty.
Yeah, okay.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah, about the blindfolding, I said, if that isn't trusting, I don't know what is. And this is yet another awkward scene that they filmed. But that was pretty much it for them.
The only thing I had for that was, like, did they have a safe word for her?
Production is the safe word. I don't think production would have let it go very far. But
the sex swing is, I was like, man, I want to get one of those. She'd probably be like,
anyways. That's it for them.
That's all I got for them. I didn't have much for anybody except Alexis and Justin. And it wasn't much that I had for them either. So.
You want to jump to them or you want to do Lindy and Miguel?
Go ahead and get everybody else out.
All right, so Lindy and Miguel didn't get a visit from Dr. Pia, I don't believe.
It doesn't seem, no, they didn't. But it seems like they're doing so well, but I still feel skeptical about them. So
they had a special delivery from the stork, which in the form of a little brown baby. And they called it Magendy Heather Elaway Santiago.
That was the full name?
That is the full name.
That's hilarious. Magendy.
And so they were tasked with taking care of Magendy. I'm not really sure why a baby was introduced to them.
Yeah, this is the first time that has happened. But they were saying that those two seem to like really not have a lot of issues or
not intimacy issues.
Right. Intimacy issues or trust issues or they like really working out really well to the expert. So it's like pointless to kind of bring the expert in. So we're going to throw another barrier in your way and give you this doll.
I mean, realistic vibes of up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a crying baby because such is life.
Yeah.
It definitely can take a toll on a person. It can take a toll on a relationship.
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting activity, but I also don't really like the fake doll exercise.
I was so glad I never had to do that.
I never had to do it either. But like in theory, it sounds great. But in practice, you could just like let the doll cry all night. And what are they going to do?
Or do what Mitch said. Take the batteries out.
Right. Essentially, all they did outside of that was they talked about bedroom activities they like to try. She suggested food, and they did body shots.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much
That's all I got for them.
Body shots to me are a little bit like not as sexual as people try to make them out to be.
It's like it's almost a sense of you have to have the right type of body for a body shot to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Miguel has a body shot body,
and it's like it's not to be done on people you like. It can lead to sex, but
there's like no.
It's like a party atmosphere type of thing.
Yeah,
it's not something we just gonna be sitting on the
intimate.
couch. Like, yeah, let's do body shots. No, we're not gonna do that.
We can do shots, but not body shots. Like it's just
pointless. It's pointless to do.
Anywho, you said you have nothing else for them?
Nah.
The people that didn't have anything going on did not have anything going on, and those that did had a lot.
Yeah.
So we will go to. Next, who I wrote the least about was Morgan and Binh. So Dr. Pia asked her a question and she immediately started crying. I was like,
did she?
Immediately. It was like, hey, how are you doing? You just got off work? Tell me about tears.
Cue tears.
She started crying, saying that she was disappointed in this relationship. And Dr. Pia asked her what was making her defensive. And she says that when she was explaining why she was defensive, she described Binh as being vindictive. And Binh was like, wait, maybe I don't have a good hold on the word vindictive. Explain to me how I am vindictive.
Yeah.
She was like malicious intent. Like she felt like you were doing things with malicious intent. And Dr. Pia told Binh that she thinks that he is intimidated by Morgan. And he was like, yeah, I can see that. He said that she triggers him because it makes him think of his dad. And his dad was a person who apparently wasn't compromising on things. And then you end up with a wife who's also not compromising on things.
That's interesting that's who they picked for him. Is a person that puts him in the mindset of his father.
But he said he's done a lot of like soul searching and things, trying to figure out like his past and stuff. And so like we know that we love our parents, but that doesn't make them any less triggering or anything like that. So
like what we got to realize is our parents are human too.
Right.
And they have human traits and human faults, just like we do. And it's like you just have to learn how to deal with those traits and faults. The thing that about Binh and this whole situation and everything that's going on, Binh is finally for the first time realizing some things that he may need to work on. You know, a lot to do with how he look at relationships. You know, and dealing with those and how to be in them. Morgan on the other hand, same deal. I don't think she's realizing. I think she's more so looking at it through tunnel vision, you know, my way or the highway type of deal. But, you know, hearing what Binh saying, hey, I was afraid of her. You know, she scares me. I can't talk to her, you know, and stuff like that. It's just like, these are conversations that you guys should have had, and you should have been able to talk to your spouse about those things because it's your spouse, you know? And then on top of that, why be mean to a person that you just met that obviously is not mean to you?
I don't understand why she felt like him talking to Justin was being vindictive.
I don't either.
Like, but I also don't know what Alexis told her. And that is a big, huge piece of the puzzle that's missing, right? He told Morgan that he would like for her tone to not be aggressive when she's talking to him. He's like, if we could speak in the tone
that we're talking
like in right now,
voice,
that would be great. But like, she comes off as aggressive. Dr. Pia asked them how would they be able to genuinely heal, and she says that he has not given her a genuine apology. I'm like, how do you know if his apology is or is not genuine? Because from the things we've seen on camera, it seems that he has given genuine apologies, but I don't know.
I don't know what you're looking for at that point.
Yeah, I got questions.
It's at this point, it's like he can't do any more than what he's been doing, and it's just a lose-lose situation for him. It's up to her to change. It's up to her to feel, you know, anything that he's doing. So, I mean, I just feel bad for Binh. You know,
agreed. Basically, she said she's willing to accept a full apology, and he said that he has a lot of things to work on.
He definitely looked at her, was like, "What is she talking about?" I don't know how else to apologize.
I said I'm sorry, and I told you exactly what I'm sorry for.
Right.
I don't get it.
It's up to her to forgive it, man.
You got anything else for them?
Nah.
All right, so we can go to Krysten and Mitch. Mitch called his friend Shayna. I think this was just to set us up for the conversation that they had with Dr. Pia. Because Mitch calling his friend Shayna to say, hey, we're not doing it because I joke around too much.
Yeah. Like, I wonder what he said.
I really wonder what he said, because whatever he said, Krysten did not find it funny.
She was like,
don't ever do that again.
Stop.
Don't do that again. Like, I'm not laughing. Don't do that again. So they said that their relationship felt like a blur, and that they do have lots of trust within their relationship. And they do an activity similar to the conversation cards that we do on the podcast. And so with the conversation cards, they just basically answered questions. So one of the questions was about their childhood hero.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that, he thinks his were superheroes. And she says that hers was her mom. And she gave this backstory about her mom coming to the States from Cuba and, speaking little to no English, working her way up in her company. And he's like, so like, is that what you think your hero is now? Or was it like really your hero as a kid? And she was like, why does he always have to challenge me? I could see how it could be taken as a challenge, but I also see how it can be taken as a valid question.
Yeah.
Because what 6-year-old is like, my mom is my hero because she moved here from Cuba and she didn't speak the language. That doesn't connect at 6 years old. I'm not saying you can't think your mom is your hero at 6 because that is very like feasible.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's something that could be true. But the reasoning behind it is, I think, what prompted his question.
I don't think Mitch needs to learn how to be quiet in certain times, because the fact that she says that does not change anything with their marriage.
No, it doesn't.
Like if that's what the way she wanted to answer that question, he should have just been like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that."
Or maybe he did.
Or maybe he did know that and be like, yeah, just sat there and just nodded his head.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that Mitch doesn't know how to do is cut it off, which what got him in trouble with the no sex. But she gonna give it back up to him.
She is. Basically, they've gone, 2 weeks, 1 week, something like that?
Something like that.
Without sex. And she was like, she wants the Mitch that she's had during the non-sex week. And they explained that Mitch was just like really vulnerable and honest and open in his communications during that time. And, that's what she was going for.
Yeah.
And
I had a question for you.
Yes.
They brought up, one of them said stranger marriage. Like we're strangers. And
I think it was Krysten.
If you have sex, are you still strangers? If you have sex in this context of we married, we have sex, can you still call each other strangers? Because now at this point, he's been inside of you.
I don't think sex makes you not strangers.
Yeah.
Let's just start there, because like it could be a one night stand and you still don't know.
No, I'm saying in this context.
No, I get what you're
saying.
I'm trying to answer the question fully.
I don't need it fully.
But I'm trying to answer the question
That's
fully.
a Mitchism.
Okay. So, stranger sex could be like a one night stand.
Got you.
However, I am confused to answer your question because I don't have a real answer for it.
Yeah.
But to answer the question is we have to define at what point do we consider a person to no longer be a stranger?
Well, in my rule or way of thinking, you have one time at my house and you're a guest. If you come over my house again, you're not a guest anymore. You're at home. That's why I look at things.
But that's a guest. Do you feel like, okay, I don't invite people to our house that I don't know, right?
Right.
So that will automatically be taken off the table because I wouldn't feel like they're a stranger if I let them into my home.
Right. I'm just using that as
That's the thing. We have to figure out what's the fine line
so that it
no longer
well enough.
No.
All right.
No longer being a stranger. That's still the question we got to figure out the answer to.
Still the question we're looking for.
Mitch talked about this sunscreen business. I don't remember what the question was that brought that up. He tried to start a sunscreen business for surfers that had no plastic containers, and apparently he lost all his money in that. It didn't work out.
I missed that completely.
They talked about their favorite sexual positions.
Doggy style.
For both.
She was like, because it's good.
And I don't understand how she didn't understand his answer.
What was his? The same thing, wasn't it?
He was basically like, it's a position that I can have control in and make sure I finish. And she was like, finish what? I was like,
These people here.
Ooh, went over your head.
Yeah, these folks here.
So their exercise and intimacy was them being blindfolded, and they giggled a lot during the exercise, and I was like, Mitch jokes a lot, but then we do stuff that makes you laugh. I don't know about how that works, right?
I don't know.
Our Google Home just started talking and nobody's talking to her.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. They probably can't even hear it.
Probably not. So
I'm going to leave this in.
Okay. All right. So last but not least.
We are really moving through this thing.
We are. I'm trying to make sure that you're ready for your event.
All right, man.
Justin and Alexis, the train wreck of the evening. So we opened up with the two of them talking about the balance or the imbalance of her hanging out with her friends. She says that she feels like he's smothering her, and he basically says, I just don't feel like you need to be going out every weekend. Every married person I know agrees.
Yeah, I just don't
literally.
I don't get I want to go. I understand, hey, once a month, twice a month. I want to see my friends. I want to do this. But I don't get if I'm trying to be married to you, I don't get the idea that I want to keep my friends separate. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, let's have a game night. Let's hang out. Let's do this. Let's do it. You're tired of being around him. Because I guess it takes so much.
She don't like him.
Yeah, that's another thing. Mm-hmm. You know, but you're tired of being around him, but you chose this process, and that's what was going to happen with your spouse. Y'all was going to spend an astronomical amount of time with each other.
You got 5 days a week that literally the only things that you can do is go to work. I mean, not go to work. Yeah, 5 days a week. The only thing that you can do without your spouse is go to work, right? Yeah. And the other 2 days are days that you're off from filming because you got to be at home to film those other 5 days of the week. She was like, you underestimate the turn up because I could go out Monday through Friday. And I'm like,
she said that?
She did. I'm like, you are over 30 years old, right? Mm-hmm. It's what is it that you looking for in the club?
It's like the adjustment from being single to being married is not clicking for her.
I feel like the adjustment from college to adulthood is not clicking for her because it's just like most of the people that I know that like party hard in college or even didn't party hard in college. Like just after 25, we was like, we don't need to go out like that. Like
I don't have to go every day.
Like you're bragging that this is something that you can do every day. And I'm like, show me something else.
Yeah. Like show me a better time. But it's I get it from Justin's part. He's like, well, can't you be at home on the weekend with me some days, some weekends? Like if you going out every weekend, no man wants his girl going to a club every weekend because what is she looking for? What high is she's trying to reach for that she's not getting with me? Because then the man feels inadequate to pleasing his lady because she needs other things.
I used to work at a nightclub. I still did not go out 5 days a week. And I mean, like, I worked in a nightclub, like, but I worked there. I would go in like late afternoon and stay until a certain time in the evening, and then I would leave. I would always do Friday nights there. I would always do Saturday nights there. And I was making great money at this job, and I still used to pray for rain. Yeah. Because rain, nothing ruins the night at the club like rain.
Right, yeah.
I used to pray for rain some nights. So I would be like, please, Jesus, just let it rain Saturday night so I can get out of there about 10 o'clock.
Yeah. She really didn't see what the issue was with her going out every weekend. And my thing was, if you want to go out every weekend, or if the thing is, you want to spend time with your friends, you need to figure out how are you going to intermingle this whole thing together.
Incorporate your friends with your spouse.
You know, because at this point, you have to figure that part out. Because like I tell a lot of people, I'm not sleeping with you though.
Correct.
You know, that's the biggest thing.
Biggest part of this equation.
I'm not sleeping with you.
Something else that outside of her wanting to go out every weekend because 35-year-old Artieka ain't got time is I also felt that it was very, 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 emphasis on very, condescending the way that they, well, baby, if you did this and honey, I said this, and it's like y'all basically trying not to cuss each other out.
Yeah. No, they cussed each other.
You know what I'm saying? Because the cameras were rolling.
Honey. Like,
because you know that the babes and the honeys didn't exist in the conversation where they was cussing.
Yeah.
They was when they knew the camera was right in front of them and that footage was going to be used. The footage of them in the other room where there was no cameraman, that's when the real language came out. They was out here babying and honeying and twinkle toes, sugarfoot each other until, you know, one of them got tired of it.
She said she think him not wanting her to spend time with her friends like that. Because I think that's what it is. It's like every weekend she just can't be at home. Like Saturday comes, she has to go out and do something with her other friends. Now, it could be a jealousy thing or something like that. I don't know.
Well, one thing is she's only shown us maybe 4 friends.
And 3 of them been dudes.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying.
So you going to the club every weekend with these dudes and you just can't stay home with me?
Right. And that's the thing that I was bringing up with the inadequate and stuff. And it's just a pure jealousy thing. Like, why are you spending so much time with these guys when we have the full day? I don't have to work. You don't have to work. But you want to split up our time together to spend with them every weekend.
Every single weekend.
Like, why is it so important for you to see them every week? You know? Like, what is it about them? Because, I mean, like, friends are friends. And the friends you grow up with and stuff like that, they'll be there.
Or they won't. If
or
they like won't. Us and move to another
and you
city.
move away. But it's like, even when they find somebody, they're not going to spend that much time with you. That's why I be thinking people fail to realize it's like, yeah, your single friends, they spend a lot of time with you because they don't have anything else to do. They don't have anybody else to, you know,
do it with.
But when they do find that somebody else to do it with, your time is then into, you know, spilled over.
So something else that was brought up was Dr. Pia asked her, do you feel that you were ready to be married? And then, do you feel like you were ready to be married to Justin? And she says, no. Then she got pissed off at him because he was like, you're not ready to be married. And she's like, no, that's not what I said. He's like, to me means you're not ready to be married.
Right, because you're married to me.
And I'm like, how does this not click?
I don't know how that don't click, man.
You said it.
This is what you said. So, like, what am I supposed to do with that? How do you respond to something like that? And how do you, like, if that's how you feel, right? Why not say that from the jump?
Because she's...
like, I feel like that's the time where you talk about attraction and you talk about like how you truly feel instead of what Mitch did to Krysten. Like, yo, I'm not attracted to you at the honeymoon. You know, I feel like her not saying she's not attracted, but no understanding that she's not really attracted to him. She don't really like him like that. But then when the conversation comes up and you're working on being truthful and everything like that, you bring that up. hey, I'm not really attracted to you, but, I'm trying to work through it and do this and do that.
Speaking of being truthful, they had a whole activity, blindfolded, tell the truth.
And she held back.
She does it.
Oh my God. And he already fired off everything he had. I'm finna take every shot.
She was like, I was just going to let him sit in that moment because you don't like him.
Because you don't care.
Right.
Like, yeah, you say all these things to me. I don't care. That's what that boils down to. Mm-hmm. Or that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like when a person does not care about you or your feelings.
Your dog hurt my dog. Now I have to hurt you.
And she brought that up.
She did.
To Dr. Pia.
Newton.
Newton.
No T. Newton.
Newton got bit, and then I think Dr. Pia, like, she felt attacked by Dr. Pia and Justin, but
because Dr. Pia was like, nah, you got to settle into this one and explain yourself.
Yeah. And
because nobody's agreeing with you.
And she tried to shut down, but Dr. Pia, that was the funny part. I don't feel like I'm getting a fair. No, like, you asked him to, like.
She really was like, okay, so tell me why.
What did she ask her to do? Somehow Maya came up into question, and she was like, would you, if the roles were flipped, would you have given up Maya or something like that?
Oh yeah, she was like, I would have given her to my mother. Because when Newton got attacked, my mom was like, bring that baby over here. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I was like, Maya's not there. Poor Maya.
And she said, I stayed even after the dog bit my dog. Mm-hmm. You act like that's something he did. He didn't bite your dog. He didn't sick his dog. He handled it incorrectly, but you did too. Mm-hmm. Y'all were both bad pet parents in that introduction.
You're right. Y'all did a terrible job of introducing those dogs to each other.
However, he's the only one who is blamed.
And he's the only one that has been, has a consequence for him.
I hope Maya gets to come back home to him.
Let's see. What else we got with them?
That's it. I'm reading over the notes about the part you talking about Dr. Pia. She told Dr. Pia that the conversations aren't conducive to her mental health and that they're overbearing. She said she feels isolated, unheard, and dismissed. And she said, you're even dismissing me. And in that conversation, she was like, well, why couldn't we have a conversation of, well, why don't you just go out twice a month? I'm like, that is your role in the relationship. Mm-hmm. Literally, if your spouse has an issue and you guys can find a way to compromise, put the compromise on the table, especially if you're with the compromise.
But she was waiting for him to do it. I'm asking.
I think so. His solution, though, is he didn't say, don't go out. He was just like, not every weekend.
Yeah.
He put the compromise out there. He just didn't quantify. Yeah. He didn't quantify it as don't go out every weekend, only make it once a month, or only make it once a week, or whatever it may be. Like if you go out on Wednesday, don't go out on Saturday. Like he didn't say those things. He literally was just like, not every weekend.
Right.
If she could have given a rebuttal of, well, how about every other weekend? I think that would have been a fair time to exchange dialogue. But she was just like, you not finna control me. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand at the end part, since we don't have really much more left. The end part with the producer coming in. I don't feel like their argument grew long enough to warrant that.
I think the producer just came in because there was cursing. And she was like,
y'all ain't finna sit up here and curse me.
Hey, y'all not just finna be cussing each other out and I'm in here. So let's just get this done.
Yeah.
I did like that she stepped in though. And she was like, sit down. What's the problem? Right. I don't want to hear no more he said, she said. Say it to her. Say it to him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just need a person that's going to do that sometimes. Mm-hmm. Maybe she got a background in psychology.
Maybe. Maybe. Go on and bring us home, man.
Yeah, that was it. The last thing that I wrote was she is upset that he said she wasn't ready to be married when she said it herself. And I put that in all caps. Anywho, you got a question for this week?
I don't.
Oh, that's the question. At what point does a person go from being a stranger to someone that you know?
There you go.
That's the question this week. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, comment down below and answer the question, and share this video with a friend. We will see you guys on Sunday/Monday, depending on where you watch it, on Live with Jack and Glenn.
There you go.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Peace.